how's you going, boys? Mike here. Welcome back to Grampie's workshop. You know, it's nice and warm in the shop here today. The heat pump and the insulation, it's paying dividends already. It's only October. What I'd like to do today is add some storage around my workbench. Yeah, storage. I ain't lying. I've got all these drawers, but I still need more storage. This wall is wide open, and I'm going to fill that up with tools, I hope, someday, sometime, some point in time. But in the meantime, before I get to that stage, I'd like to go from the front wall of the shop to the rear wall of the shop. That's about 24 feet. I'd like to put a shelf up there. So in order to do that, I'm thinking I'm going to have to get a ledger strip to go along the bottom here, cut some shelving to put on that, get some sort of hanger to hang it off the ceiling joists. So, you know, we'll have to figure that out as we go. First thing I need is a nailer strip. So let's go to the lumber shed, see if I can find some materials out there first that I could use to make a nailer strip. So I had to put my jacket on, and I got the hunter orange on now because it's hunting season and we're living in the woods, so you never know, right? Be prepared, that's what I say. So let's go. This is nice having the lumber shed, because I can store all this lumber out here. It's cold out here, of course, but the lumber doesn't mind the cold. Okay, so here in the lumber shed, I have my lumber standing on edge here, and then to my left here, just as you come in the door, like cutoffs. I store all my cutoffs on that side. To the right, as you come in the door, I've got some sheet materials that are cut up, and then beside that, I've got full 4x8 sheet goods there. I got enough material in here. I could redo the workshop. Hey, I think that's what I'll do. So looking through my lumber, on this side here, I've got some 2x10. Don't need that. 2x8, 2x6. And then 1x6, 2x6. This is rough cut stuff. Then I've got some 1x4 here. Oh, and by the way, this board here, if you see there's numbers on it, those are measurements. So that's this 1x4 is 8 feet long. So I could use the 1x4 there as a nailer strip. But oh, look, before we go any further, see this material right here? That's probably 9 foot long. Every bit of 9 feet, and it's 1x6 rough cut. My son Derek milled that out of a maple tree that was on the property here that got blown down when Hurricane Fiona came through. And we saved a couple of the hardwood logs, and Derek took that log away and he milled it up and brought me back that wood. So someday I'm going to make some fancy piece of furniture to that, and it'll be made from a tree that actually grew here on the property. So it went from a tree to a log to rough lumber to finished lumber to a piece of furniture. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. But anyway, that's for another day. But this kind of got my attention here. This is pressure treated veranda flooring. It's 10 foot long. And I think if I take that and rip it in half, that would make an ideal nailer ledge for my shelving. What do you think? So we brought in 2 pieces of the 1x 10 feet long, and then I had this little piece on that cutoff bench, part of the lumber shed. So I brought that in too, because you never know, we might need that. All right, I've got the blade set up here now to cut this, and we're going to have to start with a plunge cut because the board is 10 feet long and I don't have 10 feet between the wall and the blade, so we'll do that. With my ledgers cut, they're ready to be installed on the wall now, and of course I want them to be level. But the big thing is, what height do I want them to be? So way up here you can't see it because I can hardly see it here, but I made a mark up there where I want the bottom of the shelf to be. So I'm going to climb up there on the wall. I'm going to measure from the bench up to that mark to get a distance on it. Then I'm going to transfer a couple of marks along the wall, and then I can get up there and hopefully get one screw in it to make it kind of halfway level, and then I can adjust it as I go along. Getting up in the world now, eh? Anyways, it's hard to see, but there's the mark right there where I want the top of the ledger to sit. So we'll measure from the bench up to there. What I want to do is put them on the studs too. So here's a stud right here. 49 3/4. And I want this ledger to go right into the corner, and I want the top of it to come to that mark. So I'll put some more screws in this, and then we'll have a look at it, see what it looks like. So doesn't look that bad, eh? So I've got two 10-foot ledgers up there, and they come this far. So I'm not going to put another piece in here because of all those electrical wires. I have a sheet of aspenite set up here now. This aspenite came off the roof of the boathouse. So it's a used sheet. It's kind of damaged. It's a little bit weather worn in spots and pieces and parts. But I think it's going to be okay for a shelf. I'm going to make the shelves 12 inches wide, approximately 12 inches wide. I think they'll end up being 11 7/8, something like that. So I set my fence here to 24 inches, set up on the saw because I want to rip this in half to try to get more manageable sized pieces out of it. Now we're going to set the fence to 12. So there's my aspenite cut into 1 foot wide strips, or almost 1 foot. The other thing now about these shelves, I'm going to put them up in that ledger board, and that's a great idea, but how am I going to support them at the front? So I have these tubes here. These tubes are about 1 inch in diameter. They came off a monkey bar set I had for the grandkids, and every winter when I was plowing, I used to hit it with the stone plow. So over the years, there were so many of these braces, you know, that got bent that it wasn't really safe for the grandkids to use anymore. So I took it all apart, but of course I saved these pieces. So now my idea is this tab, I hope to bend that tab a little bit more of a right angle. I'd like to set it up so that it would be connected to the front edge of the shelving, and then turn this up straight and bring that back up somehow, however long I need it, and connect it to the ceiling joists, and that'll be support for the shelf. So I've got lots of this, so I'm going to measure and see how long I need these pieces, cut one, form it, shape it, and see, first of all, if it'll work. That's the thing about ideas, you know, you get these brainiac ideas. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. You won't know if it'll work until you actually try it, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to try it. If this is the shelf, I would like this tab to go underneath that, and then have this tab fold up at right angles, see? I'd like to have a lot more tab under the shelf to support it, because that's going to be supporting the whole weights on the shelf. Now there's not going to be a lot of heavy stuff on the shelf, but there's going to be some weight on it. So I'm thinking maybe I'll come back up here 1 inch, flatten this part out, and then fold it up. So that's what we're going to start off doing. We're going to move back up here, I don't know, an inch from where this fold is here, 1 inch, and then flatten that out. I'm just going to put it in the vise and squeeze it. So to help me, I've got a couple of pieces of angle iron here. All right, let's crush this up and see what happens. Okay, now we're just going to hit it with the hammer a little bit more. So plug your ears. It doesn't look great, but I've seen worse. Okay, now what I want to do is, I want to go like on this line right here and bend a 90 in that. I think I can get that in the vise. Yeah, look at that. Just like that. That might work. So now, that should fit on there. Pretty good, eh? It fits up against the edge of it. Now the next part of this puzzle, where's my tape? This has to be 15.5 inches Making this tab long like I did, not a bad idea, but I was hoping I could get 2 braces out of each one of these legs, and I don't think I can. That's the way it's set up. So for this prototype, I'm going to cut this off at 17 inches. The way this is going to go connect on the ceiling now is this, the shelf will be down here, this will go up, and the joists run this way, and I have to put some pieces between them. So that means that this tab, all that I'm trying to say is this tab has to be at right angles to that tab. So just trust me on that one. So I'm going to try and put a dent in it right here, but it has to be at right angles to that fella. So right about like so. I think like that. And this has to be square. Kind of square, right like that. Well, I guess one good thing, you know, because I have extra of these tubes, if it happens to go wrong, it's okay. I can make more with the spare parts I have. All right, plug your ears. More hammering coming up. Not bad. So just doing a little mock-up here. I had a scrap piece of aspenite, so I screwed this bracket that we made to the bottom of it with a 1/2 inch screw, and that worked good. So this is going to go on the ledge there, and then this is going to come up to a cross member that I'll have put in here somewheres, and I can screw to that. I think that'll work. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make about 8 of these to start with. I'm refining my process of making these shelf brackets. I took the full length here and I just cut it in half, like that was all right. But remember, the first one I made here, I made this little offset of a 1/2 inch before I put the bend in it. Well, I don't think that's necessary, so I'm just eliminating that step. So now I just take that tab, put it in the vise, fold it down straight, or at right angles, I mean. Okay, so then we measure 15 inches from that right angle, and it just so happens that 15 inches is just about as deep as the throat is on the vise, so that makes it kind of handy. Then we set this up at right angles. You know, when you're doing projects and you're kind of designing as you go, and you end up with something like this where these two pieces of tubing ahead were 38 inches long, and I needed 19 inches to make each one of them. So how about that? I can get 2 out of each one. And then when you set it up in the vise, the depth of the vise here is 2 inches, which is just exactly where I need to make that bend. That's telling you something, isn't it? Okay, so you set this up at right angles, and then we just check to make sure that this is nearly as square as we can get it. Doesn't have to be dead on, of course, eh? And then we just put a squeeze on it here, and then just put the hammer to it a little. So I have the drill press set up right here. I may as well drill those holes. Just 1/4 inch bit there. So just something like that, eh? Now I'll just clean this up at the grinder. I'll be right back. So there we have the finished product. What I'm up to now is I'm putting cross members across here to hold the arms that I made, right? To hold the shelf. So what I do, I decided I'd put them every 3 feet apart. So I got one set over here. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll just measure from here over 36 inches. And then that's 14 and, well, almost 1/4. So I'm going to cut a piece to fit in here, and then we'll set that in place. And I put 2 screws on this side and 2 toenail screws on that side, and then I can hang my shelf bracket off of that. So there's my 3 foot mark. So I'll put it on this side of the mark. So now I've got one more of these to put in down here. Then I can put my shelf standards on them, and then I can start laying the shelves in place. I'm getting ready to put the shelf up. What I've done is, the shelf is 12 inches wide, so I measured out 12 inches from the wall and put a mark here. And then I have some 1 inch long cap screws here that I'm going to hold these brackets up with. I'm only putting one screw in there for now, so that they're easier to move when I adjust them. Let's see if I can get this shelf in here. What a dandy setup, eh? Boys, oh boys, it's easy to low. Okay, that was quite a little struggle, I must say, to get that up there. Okay, so I put some screws at the back of the shelf. Now I need to put to drill a hole through here to put a little carriage bolt in there. Okay, we're going to put this up through the bottom. And I have a flat washer because it's just going into through the wood. And then a nut. So that'll do that. That's good and solid. I'll do the same to this other one that I put up. And then we're going to set some more hangers and do the next shelf. It doesn't fit real good, but it's going to be all right, I think. So now we have this joint here that of course is unsupported. So what I did was I have a piece of 3/8 plywood here. We're just going to clamp that under there. Alright, doesn't look that bad, eh? We've got some 3/4 inch screws we're going to try and put together with that. There you go. So there, we got the shelf up in place there. I didn't do this last part here because, like I was saying, I need to put some sheathing on the end here, but I've got the parts and pieces to do that, and I'll keep those aside. But there it is, it's in place. Anyhow, I don't think it makes it look too confining, too like top coming in on you, too claustrophobic. I think it'll be all right. Especially now that I see that up there, I really think it needs to get painted. And one other thing I did was, I had a Tupperware container, and I just put that up there just to see how it would fit. And it doesn't fit too bad. They have to go up sideways, of course. So I think, you know, they'll work good. But there's also just plain lots of room up there for putting up there whatever you want to put up there. So thanks for watching. Leave me some comments about what you think of my shelf. I hope you're having a great week. Boy, fall is in the air, isn't it? It's getting chilly. We'll talk to you.